Tyler and Steve just fine, and then we cut like the very bottom.
Yeah, it's one of those things where just the room that I sit in, like the room that we sit in, is just kind of formatted incorrectly for one camera. But it is what it is. We try to show everyone just so people can see Tyler. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Tyler?
We are live, Bill, but I got news for you. There's a little bit of a delay, so you might have to get used to that.
We'll turn the audio down on that feed to you, I would assume.
Yeah, it's
welcome
not like
to the world.
Calling a radio station.
Yeah.
So I'm on Facebook. Is there an easy way for me to access it, or
find the Fat Guys page, I guess.
Go live on Fat Guys Podcast.
Yeah, type
we
in
got
Fat Guys.
So the red light's on, so we're good. We got the SD card in it this week, so you can post it on YouTube after the fact and everything, right?
Yeah, I gotta double check that. Let me make sure.
Whoever's watching this right now is like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
Nope, that's not it.
Okay, I think I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, it had one person pop up, so it must have been you.
That's BV locking it in. Can you see me drink my water here, BV?
No, it's on. It's static on the side of Steve's head as he's messing with his tablet.
Wiggs is commenting. Screw you, Wiggs.
There we go.
Fuck you,
working
Wiggs.
out no kinks.
Now, hopefully
we'll do it live. Fuck it. Hit the goddamn team.
It must be way behind because no one's laughing in the picture I can see right now.
Yeah, it's probably a major processor delay.
Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to watch it.
It'll just fuck you up if you probably watch it.
Yeah, probably.
But stay signed in and close your thing so we can get some more viewers.
Wow, Steve needs to bump the numbers. What are you worried about the numbers?
Let's get them numbers going, man. We got a big guest next week. Yeah. Look at He's going to be like, wait, only 3 people watched this thing last week?
That's padding the number, probably only 1.
All right, hit the theme.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep. Welcome, everybody, to the Fat Guys on a Little Podcast. I'm your co-host, Steve Mark, and as always, joined by...
Charles is here.
And our out-of-town guest today. So you will not see his sexiness on the Facebook Live feed.
And they're really missing out.
Yeah, but he is with us live from Chicago. BV, how you doing, Bill?
Good. How are you?
Well, we lost Bill.
There's a satellite delay to BV.
So next week we got wait till the end of the podcast this week. We'll explain our big guest next week.
Ooh,
a little teaser there.
tickle, folks.
Keep them listening. So, question for you, Bill, while you're out in Chicago is, how is the buzz there about the Bears? Is there any buzz, or does anyone care? And how is things going in Chicago?
There's a little buzz.
There should be more. They just smoked Tampa. I'm sorry.
I think in a lot of ways, Chicago Bear fans are a lot like the Lions fans. So they're excited, but they're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. I mean, things may change after the game today, because I think the general feeling is that the defense is really good, but the offense, who knows? And it's a lot's going to depend on whether Trubisky develops, and I think there's a lot of a lot of cynicism about whether that will happen. But I mean, maybe today changed everything.
Well, it is just the Bucks.
Hey, that's my one win for my squad. Don't you dare.
I know Wiggs is listening, but he said he went from Fitzmagic to Fitztragic today.
Yeah.
So it's about right.
So they didn't put Jameson at all today? It was all Fitzmagic stuff?
He came in the second half.
Yeah.
I believe the whole second half.
How many fingers were licked? Anything else new and exciting down in Chicagoland there?
One new thing that I think you guys are planning on talking about later, so I won't spoil that.
All these teasers today.
New interactive store experience.
Yeah. I told him about
that I'm hoping to visit in the next week or two, because it's literally like a block and a half away from our office downtown. So
Yeah, we'll have a live street report.
Oh man,
on the Amazon.
We need to get some video over there on BV.
Yeah.
I need a serious
live
Samsung
from the streets.
Yeah.
Who has to strap a
if they'll let me,
GoPro to
I'll
his
video.
Yes. Well, there's no one there to stop you, right? There's no one working there.
That's true. So.
Wink says you need to be live satellite. He said we need some kind of camera face.
Yeah.
Popping up in and out.
I'll pull a satellite out of my ass.
So there you go. There's an update on Chicago and the Bears. And Bill says, nobody really cares. Are either
Which is crazy.
Are either the baseball teams in the playoff contention? I don't know. I don't follow baseball.
The Cubbies, right?
Yeah, the Cubs are. I think they're down to today because it's the last game of the season, and they're tied with, I want to say, Milwaukee. And the winner of that, whoever wins out of that, it gets the division win and gets to wait, and the other one hosts the wild card game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're excited, but they're sort of, at least with the Bears, I think it's kind of it's a little too early to get overexcited. They've seen it before. Same thing with the Cubs, though, right? I mean, no, I wouldn't expect them to do a whole lot in the playoffs. So
they still got Joe Madden or whatever as the coach and all that. No,
they do. Yes.
Apparently, he's just not into it.
They do?
No, they haven't.
I mean,
no one gives a shit about Joe Madden.
But they haven't been their team hasn't been as good as they have in the last couple of years. So,
so there's a look in Chicago.
That's a very lukewarm Chicago sports scene.
Yeah, surprised by that.
And we all really don't give a shit.
Yeah. Bears are kind of there. Khalil Mack does things. I don't know.
Yeah, wow.
Trubisky still sucks. So we're going to move on to some TVs and shows. And the first one up, last week, if you listened to the podcast, I was telling you about YouTube Premiere and how they have originals and music, and Bill just cleaned his throat.
Keep it clean, BB.
We need a cough button. And the one highlight on that, the YouTube originals, most of it is garbage. I mean,
what other ones are there? Because I only saw the Cobra Kai.
Most of it is produced by like YouTube talents, like
okay, I'm really tuning you out. Yeah.
I know. Well, if my daughter was here, she'd be arguing with you left and right. But basically, they take all these local schmucks that have been making these YouTube videos, and then they make cheesy, low-budget movies and put them on here, and they're all terrible. The only thing worth watching on YouTube originals is the show Cobra Kai. Charles, did you watch it?
So I watched the first 2 episodes, and I've got a lot of thoughts.
I mean, it's a half hour an episode, and it's 10 episodes. So the nice thing is it goes quick. Did you have a question, Bill?
No, sorry.
Oh, I thought you said something. Didn't it sound like
I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know what's going on there. But
BB's seizing. He's fine.
If it does tug on the nostalgia strings, it's very cheesy.
It's great. I just want to go on the record to say
it's a lot of cheese, like the old movie was.
It's like an '80s action movie brought to 2018. It's why the new Rocky movie, the Creed movies are great. It's why the new Rambos are great. It's all that stuff. It's just an '80s movie brought to modern day.
I love how politically incorrect that Johnny guy.
Oh my God! They don't make
never
any
changes throughout the whole series.
They don't try to make him like a good guy. He's still a dick, and they just. And he's real curt with that kid, and he's just drinking his Coors, which was weird product placement. Is that throughout the series?
He drinks Coors continuously.
Yeah, that's a big time product placement.
Yeah, there's a couple Samsung computers.
So they montage into the stuff from the original movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They got the full license of everything in there.
And tons of hair metal music throughout the whole series.
I think the show's awesome. I love it. One of the things I noticed, though, when you watch it within the browser of YouTube, they changed the little progress scrubber to Daniel as the crane. Did you notice that?
No, I watched it on Xbox.
Yeah, if you get a chance, watch it on the browser because you'll see they make the little progress thing, him doing the crane move when you go to grab it. It's just great. I love the show.
I'm not going to ruin it for you, but the main kid, he kind of flips, and they kind of flip the story. It's kind of interesting what they do.
It's good, man. I'm in. I'm hooked. It's
10
great.
episodes, a half hour each. It's the best thing on YouTube original.
Yeah,
nothing else worth watching but that.
Because, like I said, the Johnny guy's still a dick.
Yeah, 30 years, and the best is he still he peaked.
Well,
at the end of high school, and we know a couple people like that.
And he's stuck in that time.
Yeah,
and one of the things that pissed me off was so he's down on his luck, so he's a maintenance man. I'm like, really, man? Just shit on my trade. I'm like, what do I know?
The best is he's rocking the Firebird.
Yeah, it's
Bill. If you get a chance, you really should check it out.
I actually saw the first 2, the free episodes a while back on my computer, and They were hilarious, and I want to see the rest of the season. I just don't want to pay, for the service to get
How
it.
much
So I'm gonna
is
wait
the
for
service?
one of those, free months trials or whatever.
You
and
can get an
I'll grab
individual
that.
account for $9.99, and when you sign up, you get a month free.
So you can bang it out in a month and
Bill,
see it.
sign up. It's only half-hour episodes. We'll crack this show out and then cancel it because it ain't worth it
Yeah.
after that. I mean, unless you're into
I'll do that.
YouTube.
Other than that, I completely agree with Charles. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's great,
it's
man.
fun. I was quite surprised on how good it was.
The production's really good on it too. It looks like a TV show that should be on, you know what I mean, on anything else. Like YouTube brought the budget on it.
Some of their acting is a little stiff, but these guys haven't probably acted in
Stiff,
30 years.
yeah, I was gonna say it's stiff in the '80s. You just didn't know. I still have my one gripe that Elizabeth Shue's not in it, and that's kind of a bummer. He's married to some generic chick. Does she turn out to be anyone? The one that Daniel?
No.
How much does Elizabeth Shue need?
I don't
like
want to ruin
$10 and some
anything for
coke
you.
to go to work?
She does. She does not never. Well, that's good.
Oh.
She does never. She never shows up in the show.
Really?
But episode 9 or 8, there's a big reason why, and it's a funny scene with Daniel and Johnny at a bar. It's pretty good.
Okay.
So you'll like it. But how politically incorrect that guy is.
Does the original Sensei show up? The one that was in the Rambo
Do you
movies?
want me to ruin it for you?
I hope he does.
He shows up the very last scene of the very last
man.
episode.
Tickle, tickle.
And he's in the dark, so I don't know if he's just jacked up looking or what the deal is.
Dude, he looked good. He was on TMZ like we talked about last week. He looked like the same dude.
He comes in smoking a stogie, and Bill just fell.
BV, click the keyboard twice if you need help.
You been abducted, Bill? You all right?
No, I muted it, but then it came off as I was still clearing
Didn't
my
go
throat,
too
so.
good on the mute.
So there you go. Cobra Kai, YouTube's originals. Sign
Big
up for a
thumbs
month.
up.
Watch it.
Big
It's
thumbs
quick. It's a quick watch. Only 30 minutes an episode. Enjoyed it a lot. It's a lot of fun.
It's got to go to some other service other than YouTube original.
Well, the nice thing to know is season 2 has been approved, so there will be a second
Oh
season.
man, I'm
'Cause
in.
After the first season, me and Michelle looked it up, and it was. So the next one we're going to talk about, and I saw the previews to this, and a lot of people crapped on it. And to me, I think the jackass old grandpa, whatever. I think it's all kind of past its prime. But Action Point with Johnny Knoxville. I didn't see this. Charles, you did. Tell us what it's
so I love the jackass stuff. Like I love Bam Margera. I think it was just of my generation was very entertaining stuff. Like Bam Margera beating up on Uncle Phil and all that stuff. It's hilarious stuff. But this one, so it's a loose-based movie where like Johnny Knoxville was still supposed to do these stunts. And it is terrible. I don't know what is going on.
You know what? I know that's seen it like
I struggled to get through it. The stunts weren't funny. I everything about it was just super generic and just super unfunny. Chris Pontius, who's a big guy with the jackass stuff, party boy and all that kind of stuff, is in it. No Steve-O, which I thought was a little weird. I don't know if they had a falling out or something like that.
According to him on the radio.
Yeah, it is so bad. And and again, I have a soft spot for jackass stuff. I wanted to like it, but avoid at all costs. It is that bad of a movie. Usually there's some good stunts, and there's one good one where he's on a water slide. He gets blasted with a fire hose. That's really funny, and it sounds even funny describing it. But like that's one of like an hour and 30-minute movie. So
Wow.
you're trying to.
So did they try to have a storyline with stunts?
Yeah, so it's basically a grandpa, because bad grandpa, like you said, and he's talking to his daughter about a amusement park he used to run kind of outside the law and all this kind of stuff, and a real estate developer was trying to take it. Basic generic movie fare. But again, I can get through that if you give me some funny stunts. They didn't deliver on the stunts, which is hard to say for Johnny Knoxville, but just it was awful. God, it was bad. 90 minutes of my life I just can't get back. So I again avoid at all costs, even if you're a Jackass fan, because again those Jackass movies that came out, which were just the stunt movies, are awesome stuff. I just growing up in the 90s and all that kind of stuff, that stuff's hilarious, but that movie's bad.
You will be surprised how many YouTube kids that have their own channels borrow a lot of stuff from Jackass. Like Holly thinks she's seeing this stuff for the first time, and I'm like, Jackass guys did that 15 years ago. You realize that, right? Then I started showing her videos of it, and she's like, oh. So they do get stolen.
I love that stuff. It's super funny, and it still holds up a lot. I mean, anyone getting blasted in the nuts or doing something is funny to this day.
It's always good times.
And usually I'm a big fan of Johnny Knoxville's work, but this one's a big avoid for me.
So there you go. Avoid Action Point and watch Cobra Kai. So this fall, right now, is a lot of premieres coming back.
A lot of them.
And, you know, Charles is a huge TV guy, me somewhat. Bill, any new shows this fall that you're looking excited to?
Good talk.
New shows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or even returning shows that you've been waiting on, like Soul Survivor or anything like that?
Soul Survivor.
What is Soul Survivor?
Or what? No, what's the one?
That's Kiefer Sutherland. That's Soul Survivor, where like he's the only one left for they get like assassinated or whatever.
He watches.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does.
Whatever.
I
heard they canceled that.
I heard they should have canceled that. You watched that, baby?
I watched a little bit of the first season, but I haven't kept up with it.
It got canceled, and then it got picked up by one of the streaming apps. I don't know if it was Hulu or Netflix that picked it up.
Do not subscribe for that show.
Yeah, I don't know. So you got the last season of The Big Bang Theory coming?
Yeah, so that's the last one, the final season, because Jim Parsons wanted out. Mm-hmm. So they're basically pulling away from that show. So it just premiered, and it did a 2-night premiere. It came on a Monday and then on a Thursday. So I don't know if they're rifling through them or what it is, but it was time for that show. And I think we've talked about it now. Mm-hmm. You know, there's only so many marriages and births we can take where it's like, okay, I think we get the point. So,
and now everyone on that show will disappear for about 10, 15 years. And like Modern Family, where Al Bundy showed up and all of a sudden his career got rejuvenated. That'll happen to a lot of these guys on this show.
Johnny Galecki's going to keep doing the Connors. I saw that. You know,
so not too excited, but I'll watch the season. And then one of my personal favorites, and I haven't watched. I missed the new episode. The Goldbergs are back.
Yeah, Goldbergs, and that's another show that's struggling too.
Yeah, they're running
because
out
the
of stuff.
kids are getting so old too. Like I don't
Yeah.
know how you keep. So Erica's officially out of college and back home living with them.
Doing her rock band.
Yeah, doing the rock band with Lacey and all that. Or I think it's Lacey. But and then Adam is pretty much like a junior or something at this point. And they're really kind of fast and loose with how old Barry is anymore.
Is he still a senior? He's been a senior for about 4 seasons now.
But the show is still great. It's just like Cobra Kai. It really leans on that 80 nostalgia. And the mom on that show is hilarious. The dad's really good. I still love that show, but I just don't know how much more they got left. Now they kind of started to work a spin-off there with the coach and the counselor.
I watched that spin-off.
Yeah,
episode.
it was
terrible.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but so that premiered, and that's one of those big fall premieres that just showed up. And then there's a third one that I was going to talk about, the Anthony Bourdain show, Parts Unknown. Yet another season of this show came out. The guy offed himself like 8 months ago, but he had a lot of shows in the can, apparently.
Shouldn't they just release that to DVD or something?
Yeah, I don't know,
about
man.
that one.
But I love that show, and when he was here, it was a great show to watch, and he started the first show with like a crossover episode with the guy from United Shades of America, Kamel Bell or something like that, where they went to Kenya.
No idea what you're talking about.
All right, so I'll talk.
That's a really interesting show.
Oh, look at that. That's on CNN, Mr. Republican. You allowed to watch that? Shouldn't you be watching like Objectified on?
Watched every episode.
Oh, yeah. So glad to see you like it. It's a great show. But again, I don't know how many more they have in the can. I think they got 5 or 6 more for this season somehow. Wow. I don't know how it's going to work out, but if you get a chance, check that out. It's a CNN show.
Another big one. I actually caught the first episode about 5 minutes and I left. I'm not a huge fan, but Survivor, Bill, you know who's on that? Johnny Nitro. Remember him from the WWE?
Vaguely.
He was with that one girl. I can't think of her name right now. Melina or something like that. He could do all the flips and stuff. Johnny Nitro, Johnny Mundo. I forget what they call him all.
Johnny Mundo.
He wrestles for that weird luchador wrestling on Netflix now.
Yeah, and he's supposed to he does like a big anti-Mexico America thing, doesn't he? Like, isn't he like Mr. America?
Yeah. He's like the one. It's like Mortal Kombat where you got the one true American character. Yeah, he's that on that show.
But the original point was this is like season 37 of Survivor. Like Jeff Probst, man, back the money truck up. This guy's been doing this for 20 plus years now at this point.
I still want a cold weather Survivor.
They're never going to do it.
Stick them in Antarctica.
No one cares.
I want to see it.
They want to see hot chicks wearing the buffs and all this kind of stuff. And
no.
either you're into it or you're not. It's one of those shows that I get kind of hot and then lukewarm on, and but again, that's one of those shows that's beautiful. I don't know how they film it or whatever. It looks like 4K, but it's just a 1080p broadcast or something. If you got a nice TV, man, crank the Survivor up if you really want to have a good showcase of what your TV can do. Some of those tropical locations look just amazing on that CBS show.
So the Goldbergs, Big Bang Theory in its final season. Survivor, if you want to root on Johnny Nitro from WWE fame / Lucha Underground. That's what it is. I couldn't think of the name of that show.
Thank you. You cleared that up because people were wondering.
It's on Netflix. I watched a little bit. I wasn't. And then Anthony Bourdain and the creepy Parts Unknown, where you're watching a man committed suicide for 6 seasons. I don't know if you can watch that. So, finally, are you having trouble with your DirecTV now?
So in BV, we talked about it before. His sister and her man kind of were having some issues with it. It's really the DVR stuff on my DirecTV now is super quirky. So the stuff that was on like the Sling TV and the Philo service, all that stuff was pretty rock solid. The DirecTV Now DVR stuff, I know they'll still say it's in beta or whatever. It is just super quirky. Like, I'll check my upcoming recordings because, again, I'm a pretty savvy DVR guy, and I'll prune and kind of... Yeah, very savvy. I'll prune and pull out, like, shows that, or doubles or whatever, and then all of a sudden I'll check back, like, oh, so-and-so is supposed to record, and it just doesn't record it. It just has, like, these weird, quirky moments. The controls on the Apple TV kind of get flaky, where, like, all of a sudden an episode, you'll be, like, 30 minutes in, it'll just reset to the beginning. It's still my recommended, for cord cutters, my recommended service that's out there, but just be aware you got to babysit that DVR a lot. And that's one of the things that if you're kind of one of these people that want a rock solid, kind of like an X1 or a TiVo system, you can't come to this because it'll drive you bonkers. The other thing it's doing now, too, is it's just populating your like upcoming recordings with random things that it's suggesting for us. So, again, I check my upcoming recordings, and there's, like, random shows that I never even set up that it's trying to record to get in front of you. And that must be, like, certain TV channels trying to, kick DirecTV a couple bucks to, hey, put us in people's queues, and they're doing it. So you got to watch that, people.
And the price went up?
Yeah, so now I pay $40 for the base service with the DVR and then a $5 premium for the HBO. But again, I like the way the HBO, because you can get the HBO Go app and do the login thing, as I've discussed in previous podcasts. But again, don't think that you're going to get this. If you got a wife that's finicky about the way she does the DVR and all that kind of stuff, you got to babysit this thing. And there's a definite learning curve attached to it.
All these streaming services are slowly creeping up more and more. PS Now went up. DirecTV Now went up.
Yeah.
I will side note, though. I do enjoy those Sling commercials. Have you seen those?
Did they get rid of Danny Trejo? Is Danny Trejo gone?
Yeah.
I like Danny Trejo.
One couple telling the other couple, hey, you want to come over and sling?
Oh, sling.
And they think they're going to be swinging. I like those. And Bill, did you get Sunday Ticket this year?
Yeah.
How much did that run you, if we may ask, for DirecTV?
Just under $300, and that's just for the base. So I don't have the extra $100 add-on where you can watch on mobile devices and that sort of thing.
That's just through a DirecTV box at your house.
I can watch it at home. Yep.
Does that include Red Zone channel?
I don't believe so.
Wow.
But let me check.
How much is the mobile streaming to add on? Is that an extra $100?
It's $100. It's
wow.
So you'd be all in $400
max.
Jeez. And they will not sell that extra streaming service to people that don't have DirecTV.
I can get that. I told you that.
Cheating. Anyone puts their address in, they'd be like, nope.
I've got my TV on in the background on mute, and I just click to Red Zone and purchase options. I can buy it for $49.99.
Wow. So all in, you'd be like $450.
Yeah.
If you wanted Red Zone, and if you really wanted to get on the NFL like that.
Jeez.
Wow.
Well, there you go. They're not hurting for money.
That is nuts.
So, we are going to introduce a new segment.
Yes, because we're going to iterate on this.
We'll see how fast everyone can react. We're going to list off some new shows, new movies, and music, apparently.
Yeah.
And we will all give a yes, no, what
Yeah, so we're going to do yes, no, maybe, or what. And basically that means you're into it, you're not into it, you could be, or I don't know what the heck you're talking about. And that's basically it. And we're just going to go through, different things that came out, whether that be new Blu-rays that came out this past week, or some movies that are in the theaters now, or some music. And just kind of, we're going to call it like a rapid release segment. And then we're just going to go through the stuff that came out and just kind of one-word reviews. And we'll maybe tangent a little bit, but it's going to be pretty hilarious to hear how bad we hate most of the stuff.
So here we go. Rapid. Start with the Blu-rays. Solo, a Star Wars story. I say yes. Charles?
Big yes from me.
Bill, what do you say?
Maybe.
Uncle Drew on Blu-ray right now. I say yes. I kind of want to see it.
That's a no. That's a Sprite commercial made into a movie. You know that, right?
Bill?
Maybe.
Maybe it's just going to go down.
On HBO.
John Gotti, starring John Travolta. Hell no on that one.
I'm a big hearty no. Hair plugs or no. I'm a no.
Bill?
This should be a yes, but it's an absolute no.
Yes, I heard it's a train
So you would like a good John Gotti movie is what you're telling me.
Yes, but John Travolta is no John Gotti.
And the final Blu-ray came out, I think, last week. Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm a no. I did not like it.
And Bill?
What?
Not in the Jurassic Park series.
Well, I mean, just Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, it's getting too confusing.
BV's out.
So, and now also new in theaters now, we're going to start here. Night School, Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish. Maybe?
I'm a yes on that. I like both of them. I think they're funny.
Bill?
Maybe. Not at the theater, though.
That's another HBO for BV.
A lot of HBO shows for Bill.
Yes.
Smallfoot. I'm going to say no.
I have to be a maybe because I'm sure Lorna wants to see it.
This is an animated Yeti movie, Bill. So
An animated, so it's a big yeah.
What?
White Boy Rick. Maybe.
I'm a maybe on this one. Interesting. I don't know much about it. I don't know if it's Michigan ties.
And Bill?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
I remember this being in the news when I was a kid. And yeah, I followed it a little bit. So I am interested in, I don't know if I'll go to the theater to see it because I just don't go to the theater, but I'm interested in seeing the movie.
The House with the Clock in the Walls. I'm going to say no. Too much like Goosebumps.
No, because Jack Black, I don't know what Jack Black's up to. No.
I did like
No.
Goosebumps. The Nun. No, because Bert's not around.
I would be a maybe. It's Halloween time. It might be fun.
No. No. Now this one, The Predator. This is the newest one out, made by Shane Black. I'm going to put a maybe.
I'm going to be a maybe as well. I know Olivia Munn got that guy kicked off for being a sexual predator.
Yeah, and Bill?
Really? That's not an option. No.
And new music releases.
Yes.
Why?
Lil
Really
Wayne.
or why?
Lil Wayne,
No.
The Carter 5. I'm going to put a big yes.
Yeah, you ran to Lil Wayne. Now, this is the one that was like contested by Birdman or something like that.
Oh, Birdman.
Yeah, something like that. So he had this in the tank like 5 years ago. I'm a big no because I don't like Lil Wayne.
And Bill?
No.
And then also releasing this week, Kanye West. Yandi? Is that how you say
I
it?
guess it's yeah. I don't know what
Oh,
it is.
I'm going to say, big yes, of course.
Yes, big Make America Great Again.
Yeah, who doesn't want to listen?
I'm
to
a hard
Kanye?
no because he was walking around a Perrier outfit at SNL. I don't know what he's up to.
He's crazy.
BV Kanye?
No. And on a side note, I understand he has officially changed his name to Yee.
Oh, Yee.
Oh.
Not Kanye, just Yee.
And his last name,
Just,
Yee.
or maybe Yay. I don't know.
Oh.
I saw it. Saw the article online, and so I didn't hear him say it. So I don't know whether it's Yee or Yay or what it is, but no.
All right. So there you go. There's a rapid fire wrap up. A lot of no's, a couple maybes. Most of it's garbage. It's a low time for movies right now anyways, but it'll pick back up in November. So do you have an upset special for us this week on the audio or no?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, here we go.
In honor of BV, a former Alabama alumni, we got to have the Iron Bowl Classic where the field goal was returned.
Oh, come on.
7 yards. Remember, a blocked kick can go the other way. too. He's got to be careful and get it up.
On the way. No, returned by Chris Davis. Davis goes left. Davis gets a block. Davis has another block. Chris Davis. No flags. Touchdown. Auburn. An answered prayer.
Nelly timer. 5 minutes. Starting now.
Side note, Bill was at my house watching that when that happened. He never watched the Alabama game at my house again after that.
I will never watch the Iron Bowl at your house again. The 2 games that I saw at your house were the kick 6 and the Cam Newton comeback from 24-0 at the half.
Yeah.
So never again. And now I know how Michigan fans that listen to this.
Dig them up, people.
So college football happened yesterday, and we'll turn this over to Bill. Bill, what did you think of the Clemson-Syracuse game yesterday?
I think it would have been a lot funnier if they had actually lost. They kind of deserve it. The perfect, they benched their starter, who's in a lot like Jalen Hurts at Alabama. It's basically done nothing but win. Suddenly he's benched, and then the guy they bring in gets hurt. I like that Syracuse is making a comeback. I'm a fan of Syracuse.
I was gonna say, I think Syracuse is pretty decent.
Do you like that new color orange they have in their helmets? It's almost like
I'm
an
kind of
orangish
indifferent
red.
to it.
Yeah. Okay.
They changed that stuff a lot, and I would have preferred them stick with the traditional stuff, but I'm old and boring, so. But yeah, Clemson I think is on borrowed time. Other than the fact that the ACC just generally sucks. It's only a matter of time before that comes back to bite them and they lose. So,
I mean, so let me ask the question: does anyone think that what's his name, Kelly Bryant, the guy who got passed over? Is that the guy's name? What's the guy? I think it's Kelly Bryant. Anyway,
yeah, Kelly Bryant.
Do you think he's going to come back? Because he's still enrolled at the school. They're saying they might be able to mic up and get him back in there.
Who are we talking
I'm looking at Steve and he's staring at me with a bunch of stuff.
Why would he?
I mean, he has a chance to make. I mean, you're talking about the number 3 team in the country or whatever. I mean, you say why would he? But he could lead the number 3 team to a promised land. I mean, I don't know.
Well, but from what I understand, Lawrence kid, I think was his name. Was it Travis Lawrence?
I don't know. He got his
the
long
kid
locks
they brought in,
bashed.
Just went out with I think they were saying concussion protocol.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's out for the year and. So he's going to come back, play a couple games, get benched again when he can still redshirt with this new 4-game rule, go somewhere else and get 2 years of eligibility. I don't see why he would.
Wiggs, just for the record, Wiggs said you're 100% correct on Clemson. he's chiming in.
No one cares what Wiggs' opinion is on Clemson.
Wiggs is like, damn you guys.
Responding to the
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So there we go. That was really the only one that was close to being an upset. Nothing really.
Can I register a gripe real quick? Can I just give a tangent? So our squad plays now. Every decent game is at 7:30 now. Anything that's in South Bend is now a primetime game of any decent game.
Yeah.
And so the issue was yesterday, our team bumped to 7:30 to play Stanford. The Ohio State Penn State game is on at the same exact time. So you got 2 amazing games that you got to split your time between.
That was annoying.
Because now Notre Dame football wants to make everything a primetime game. What happened to 3:30 starts? I don't understand.
You got to get that primetime money?
Yeah, I guess. But, dude, you're killing me. I wanted to watch both games, and I'm ADDing back and forth between them.
Especially because most of the day, all the games are crap, pretty much.
Yeah, it was awful. They would have been the best game. The SEC game was like Tennessee, Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
It was a beating.
And you could have had, Stanford, Notre Dame at 3:30 and been the marquee game of the afternoon.
And then had Ohio State, Penn State at night.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What is that?
That's NBC looking for money. What do you think that is?
Annoying is what it is.
That's all NBC right there. They got the lights. Let's use them.
Yeah, I get it, but man, from a football fan standpoint, it's tough.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it is.
As far as that game goes, Notre Dame looked good. some of Stanford and Notre Dame.
I think Stanford was a bit of a paper bag, I think, is what it was.
Well, me and Bill are asking, how many tight ends does Stanford have? I think they have 37 tight ends.
And they're all 6'5".
Yeah, 6'5" and up.
Yeah, they just post up and wait to get it punched in down low so they can,
I like what
It's like
David
fast-
Shaw and all that stuff does, though. I think that they win right, or whatever the term is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they lost. Notre Dame wins. Looked good. Let's see
Ian
how long they
Book.
keep. Everyone keeps saying, well, they should win out, but this is Notre Dame. They'll choke to somebody.
Now, before you go off into an Ohio State Penn State thing, you got to discuss the Michigan eker that they had issues at
there's a little
Northwestern.
guy in Cincinnati that was very.
Oh.
Your Nelly timer is done.
Oh man, telling us to wrap it up.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Michigan is a totally different team on the road. I don't understand that team. Next year they're going to schedule 12 home games. That's all I know.
Yeah.
They're like, we're never going on the road. They should have killed Northwestern. And
they struggled big time.
Yeah, I mean, what do you got on that?
Northwestern should have never let them back in that game either.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Northwestern screwed up. Let them in.
So I didn't catch the end of the Ohio State Penn State game. Tell me a story here, gentlemen, because
My first story is your bedtime needs to be later
yeah.
than 7 p.m.
So again, I can only TiVo one game.
You got a weird TiVo, a weird DVR, and you can't. Penn State gave them the game right before the half. They fumbled. Ohio State scores a touchdown. Let them right back in. That one fumble pretty much sealed the deal for Penn State. The second half, it kind of went back and forth. And then Penn State just couldn't stop them in the end, and then they outscored them. And what are your thoughts, Bill?
Yeah, they were up I think it was 13 or 2 touchdowns. I think it was 13 or 14 in the fourth quarter, and just couldn't stop. And then, much like our conversation earlier about the Colts' fourth down choice, Franklin decides to call a shotgun draw on 4th and 4 at the end of the game, which
that was very weird.
Completely got blew up and didn't make any sense whatsoever. And he admitted it in the press conference after. He just said, "That was on me. That was a horrible call." The Penn State let them get away, and now Ohio State will probably
win the Big Ten.
Probably run the table and end up in the playoff. And they really have no business. They had no business winning that game, and Penn State basically put it on a platter for them.
Yep. And you didn't get to see the end of that.
Well, I wouldn't have anyway because I was watching the Notre Dame game going, why are these both on at the same time?
Well, the Notre Dame game ended quicker.
A little early. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I got to catch the last 8 minutes of the Penn State-Ohio State game pretty much. So
But I thought the whiteout was cool. I mean, they got that place rocking. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. They had a stat that they put up that said that they were also, I guess, they were 5-5 in whiteout games. So it's not been all that successful. Now I guess 5-6.
Maybe they should go with a blue out. Everyone turn blue on next time. The only other highlight from the college world that I saw was your boy Jimbo going crazy. On
Yeah, dude, he smashed this guy in the face.
Yeah, grabbing a face.
I am all in on Jimbo. God damn it.
That crazy hillbilly grabbed his best
Don't
player.
get it back. Punch him in the face.
Yeah.
He's putting his hands on people.
Did you see that, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jimbo's
I didn't see
crazy.
it live. But
He's
yeah,
fiery. How dare you?
Yeah.
I love him.
I wish more coaches would do that.
I'm way in on
He went
Texas
Woody
A&M.
Hayes.
I love it. I love it.
So there you go. A little look at the weekend. Ohio State squeaks it out. Notre Dame looked pretty solid against Stanford, and Stanford has 22 tight ends. Clemson squeaked it out against Syracuse, and Jimbo's crazy. So there you go. Your update on college football. Any Big Ten updates, you can call Eric Wigington at 555.
Which no one gives a crap about.
He's gonna be mad over that.
Mediocre conference. It has one good team.
But Michigan State did pull it out against the powerhouse of Central Michigan.
Yeah.
And Alabama
Trying to claim it's like an in-state rivalry too, D'Antonio. Really?
Alabama pretty much had a bye this week. They just did
Louisiana, Monroe, or something like that.
That was ridiculous.
I saw most of that game, and it was.
Usually they wait to the last week to schedule that game. I wonder why that was early.
That was a televised practice. That was ridiculous. So there you go. Now we got a couple reviews for you this week. Bill, are you familiar with Tomb Raider?
I saw the movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Which one, the Angelina Jolie ones or the newest one?
Yeah, no, the Angelina Jolie one, the original. That's it. I'm sure I played the original game with you guys at some point years ago, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, she's basically a female Indiana Jones, exploring, going through things. The newest game came out this week, or last week, I think. And on our website, fatguyslittlepodcast.com, I have a full write-up and review on there. So if you want to look at the review. But I played it on PS4 Pro. Nice game. They're very beautiful games. They always have great scenery. And
those new games are good. I think they still have the same elements of the old game, but they're very playable. They don't have these crazy puzzles that drive you nuts. They've got things that make you think a little bit, but they still keep the action kind of. I think they're great. Yeah,
and these 3 is supposedly the last of the trilogy. It's all about her becoming the Tomb Raider. That's what these 3 newest ones were about. They were supposed to be before she was the official Tomb Raider and had the 2.
How does one become an official Tomb Raider?
I don't know. That's what
she was a Padawan until this point.
That was the concept that was pitched, and this was the last one. And after this one, she's supposed to be the full-blown Tomb Raider and blah blah blah.
Oh, so you address her as such.
Graphics are great. It plays just like the other ones,
which is great.
The character models are a little off on this one. I don't know what's going on. They did have a different studio that built this one compared to the other ones. From what so there were some things that were a little off, but still look pretty good. The funny thing about Tomb Raider, you got to do a lot of climbing and stuff, right? And in this game, what they do is they'll have like a little white. Someone painted some white on some bricks, so you know which bricks to jump on.
Okay.
My question is, who went to Home Depot 500 years ago
Put
with a
some
bucket of paint
on each one of the bricks?
Because thank God, because without him, I'd never know where to jump in that game.
Miguel back in the day really painted those bricks really nice.
And the other thing, you played the earlier ones. She was very hesitant to kill people, right? She was like, oh, my God, I don't want to kill someone in the earlier games. This one, she's full-on Rambo.
Well, she's becoming the Tomb Raider.
Yes. They got a new move where you can light up against the wall and put mud on yourself and sit there with a knife.
Oh, dude, you can straight up Rambo?
Straight Rambo,
oh, man, I need to get this one.
Yeah, she's the most violent. There's no regret anymore. She just,
awesome.
If you're a military outfit or some kind of native dude, just put a knife through your throat. Doesn't care.
Hey.
So...
those new Tomb Raider games, I love them.
They're pretty. I mean, this one's a little shorter than the rest of them. I will say that. It was only about 12 hours to crack through it, which the other ones took maybe 15 to 20. But it was a good game.
You could probably do a lot more of the hunt and fetch stuff and extend it if you wanted to.
The side missions are terrible.
You probably mainlined it a little more than
a lot of side missions were go collect these 5 things and bring them back, and it's like, I ain't doing that crap. Good game. If you're into Indiana Jones or Uncharted, check it out. For all my video game nerds out there, all 2 of you or 3 of you, whatever.
They're good. They're really good. Those new Tomb Raider games are very nice games.
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
When you get a game that takes 15 to 20 hours of gameplay to win, how long in real time does that actually take you? Like
that's
3 days, a week?
That's 15. About a couple hours a night. I would do like this one. I got it last Sunday. I played about 3 hours Sunday, then like 2 during the week every night. But from like 9 to 11 or something like that, I'll play a couple hours a night. So and then 5. So it'd take me about 6 days. That makes sense.
How do you get a couple hours a night to play video games?
You ignore your family
every night.
It's simple. Well, he squirrels away in his game room and ignores his family.
I get home at 5.
He comes in, eats dinner, and then leaves.
I make dinner first off. I come home, I make the dinner. We eat the dinner together. I drive Holly to practice. I come back. I watch a show or 2 with Michelle, which was Cobra Kai last week.
That's bonding time with his wife.
That's bonding time with my wife. 7 o'clock.
All right, I'll see ya.
7 o'clock, I pick up Holly from practice, bring her back. Holly goes to do her homework and take a shower, and she's pretty much done for the day. I don't see her the rest of the day. And then might watch one more show with Michelle. By 8, 9 o'clock, I'm in my room, and that's Steve time. From probably 9 till midnight. I go to
this
bed
is the
around
healthiest
midnight.
marriage I've ever heard.
What are you talking about?
She sleeps on the couch and Steve goes to bed in his room.
Yes, that's exactly what she can sleep in the room. I don't know why she
is she sleeping on the couch with her sleep apnea machine?
Yes. She refuses to sleep in the bed. I don't know. She says I snore too much, so I got nothing. So there you go. There's a look at Steve's life. It's boring, but it works. And once your daughter is like 14 or 9th grade, she could give 2 craps what Dad's doing now. Now she's on the phone the whole time she's home. She does her homework, and that's the only time she needs Dad is she needs to go shopping or some money. That's pretty much it now. There's no more having to be buddy with Holly anymore. Kind of sad in a way. I don't know why I went on that tangent there, but there you go. So, anyways, Tomb Raider. Enjoyable time. So now Aero PT50 pneumatic staple gun.
So I'm going to talk something similar to what Steve just talked about. I got a new fancy pneumatic stapler to work on the May Street studio here. So I was putting up some vapor barrier around the insulation and everything. And I went to Home Depot. I was going to buy a stapler. And I was like, I could sit here and like bang on this stapler and do all this stuff to put this vapor barrier up. Or I could just hook it to my air compressor and just bump it and not have to just pull the trigger and just watch this thing go. This thing is awesome. For $33, I bought this thing. You throw a bunch of staples in it, you pull the trigger, and you just you hit that tip right on wherever you need the staple to go, and it just goes. There's no effort to it. It's super easy, super handy, and it worked reliably. I didn't have any weird misfires or nothing. I was able to weatherproof the front of the house, do the vapor barrier on the inside. Had no issues, banging staples right through it. It's a great little device for $33. Only thing is you got to have an air compressor, obviously, to run it. So, I don't know how many average homeowners have a pretty decent air compressor. I'm a crazy person. I have one. So, like I said, that's something to consider, but it is a cool device, man.
Outside of hanging up vapor barrier, what do you ever do with this staple gun?
I don't know, but it's awesome. For $33, I'll probably...
Is there some sort of environmental contamination, in and around your house that requires vapor barrier?
No, you have to, whenever you have a huge... contamination. I don't have radon. I'm trying to keep in the house, BV.
Well,
no,
yeah,
it's typical building. So
think,
what you see is on like Owens Corning insulation, it's a temperature variance. So you heat and cool your house, and the outside is very cold or hot. You're obviously a big temperature difference between the two of them, and a moisture or a condensation can happen between the two. So you have to have a vapor barrier wherever that is. So in those two extremes. So typically what you see is like that pink Owen Corning insulation with like that brown bag on it. That's a vapor barrier. So that's acting as the vapor barrier. In this instance, I used a Rockwell insulation that doesn't have the vapor barrier face on it. So you have to put a 6 mil vapor barrier in. Again, that's a whole other tangent, but this Aero stapler made quick work of that. It was awesome because I could just kind of hold that plastic up and just bop it, and it just ran right along, and I loved it.
So do you have a portable compressor, or do you?
Yeah, I have an 8-gallon compressor.
No, one in the garage.
No, I have like an 8-gallon compressor that I use for like my brad nailers and all that kind of stuff, like doing trim and all that kind of stuff around the house. And that's another whole handy device too, but that's for another show, BV. How dare you?
Okay, I'm sorry.
So if the Aero staple gun people need a sponsor, or want to sponsor,
I love it. It's great.
We give thumbs up to it. Same thing with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So we're going to talk about the NFL, the mighty NFL. And Bill, what were your thoughts on the Vikings versus Rams this past Thursday? Did you get to see the game?
I got to see the second half. I had some late nights at work this week, so I saw most of the second half and saw the end. It was a decent game. The Vikings are playing better, I guess. They played better than they had, but they're very underwhelming considering
they're
all the hype
underachieving
that they were
big time.
getting. I still don't think Kirk Cousins is a good fit for that offense, but they seem to score okay Thursday night, and the Rams look like they have to be the current favorites to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I'm really surprised by Minnesota's defense. I thought they would slow the Rams down a little bit, maybe a 27-24 score, but man, that did not happen.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on in Minnesota.
Yeah, I thought that'd be a lot better defensively than what I saw. So there's that one there from Thursday. So I lost my notes. I see a picture of Lorna, though. So and then the games today, the Lions, they had it and then lost it.
Yeah, I watched most of that game, and it looked like it was Ezekiel Elliott of old for once finally this season. Mm-hmm. They finally got him on track to actually do some damage against another team, which is rare.
Yeah, but it is classic Lions. You beat New England. You should beat the Cowboys. You go to Dallas and you lose. It's Lions 101, really. If you have watched the Lions for years, it's just something they do. I mean, in all honesty, up until this week, Dallas's offense was scoring, 8 points, 12
Yeah,
points.
and again,
They
Elliott
were
was very
terrible.
mediocre all season.
The only team they could beat was the Giants because the Giants rolled over and died that game. They look terrible. Lions walk in. Everyone looks great. Lions will cure the worst offense in the world for anyone. So, same old Lions. That's all we'll say about that one. So,
and again, the Bears destroyed the Bucks. Something like 48-3, or what was that final?
10, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was like 48-10.
Yeah, that was crazy. Just destroying them. Now, was that in Chicago?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not making the Steelers win look too hot.
Trubisky went for something like 350 and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was probably the greatest game he'll ever have his entire life at any level.
Yeah. Everyone will pick him up in fantasy football next week. He'll score 5 points.
Yeah.
So tonight...
Anyone that does that, by the way, stupid move. Don't actually do that.
Yeah. So tonight, Baltimore versus the Steelers. This is in Pittsburgh, correct?
Yes, I believe it is.
Is Le'Veon Bell going to make an appearance?
No,
or is he just
he's done. He's done in Pittsburgh.
Man, the
stick
Lions
a
should
fork
get
in
him
him for that.
Whatever the Lions got to do, they trade it all and get him.
I don't know what version of my team is going to show up for that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like this is usually a great game, but that's 5-6 years ago. I don't know what it's going to be.
I don't get the Ravens. They'll blow out the Bills. They'll lose to someone you don't expect, and then they're going to end up 8-8. So you don't know what Baltimore team you're getting tonight. Is the really good one that's on, or the streaky one that's just going to fall apart? I don't know what team you're going to get. They should be up for a game versus Steelers. I'm assuming.
It's usually a great game. It's usually a great rivalry type of game, but I don't know. It's going to be high scoring because both those the defenses are not what they used to be.
And Bill, what are your thoughts on Baltimore versus Steelers?
I agree. It should be a high-scoring game. I know that you're rightfully so very nervous about your Steelers there, Charles. But some of the stuff they did last week was encouraging. The offense is hitting their stride. The defense, they've had years like this before. They have some struggles early on, and then start to get it together. I still like them tonight, but only because they're at home. Le'Veon Bell, really quickly, there's a chance he comes back. From what I understand, the Steelers are now actively shopping him, and they're looking for at least a second-round pick and a good player. And anyone that picks him up, that were to make that trade, can't negotiate with him until the end of the year because he's on his franchise
the tag
designation.
Yeah.
And so if they're not able to trade him, I think he's got like November 11th or 13th that he has to come back before, or he loses his year for free agency. So if they don't find a way to trade him, he'll show up somewhere around week 10, week 11, and they have to play the rest of the year.
Second round pick and all 3 running backs and a second round pick from the Lions. Take them all and give them Bell. I mean, they can't run the ball.
They said good player.
Oh, well, Lions screwed there.
Now, one other thing of note that I just saw today, again, Cincinnati just beat the Falcons today. What is the Cincinnati? I don't know. 3-1? What are they?
Yeah, but Cincinnati does that.
I don't know.
All of a sudden, they'll have an 11-5 year and still lose in the first round of the playoffs. They do that. They do that all the time. Atlanta's the bigger problem. It's like they can't stop anybody. They're scoring 30-something points a game and still losing. They don't want to run the ball at all now. They're like, we got Ridley and Jones, and we're just chucking it everywhere. So they can't eat any clock. So it's terrible. I hate that.
The TCU of the NFL.
It's basically
that was the best game. I was watching it most of the early game, and they literally pulled it out, and, like with a minute or less than a minute to go. And
you watched the game?
Did anyone see Tyler Eifert? He's dead, I think.
What? What do you mean?
Well, his ankle or leg, I don't know exactly what it is, but his leg was basically sideways. They had to put him in a cart and take him out.
Wow.
He's pretty much done. You got to figure his career is probably close to over at this point with all the injuries he's had.
It was a Joe Namath type injury, is what you're saying?
Yeah. He went one way, his leg went the other.
Oh, that's always
like the leg, you can see the leg go sideways. So,
now here's one I'm going to go out on, and I'm going to say this right now, and I think I'm nuts, but I am nuts. Kansas City, Denver. I like Denver Monday.
You're out of your mind.
It's in Denver, right?
You think that they're going to
It's
punch
in
him in the
Denver.
mouth, don't you?
Yeah, I think he's got to have an off game eventually.
Dude, he's got a laser rocket arm. What are you talking
Yeah, well,
about?
I don't care. If you can't throw it because Von Miller's killing you, it doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
I like Denver in a grimy game, 20-17.
Oof. That's a
If
limb.
if it's in Denver, I
You'll
think
look
it
like a
is.
genius if it hits, but I don't know.
What do you think, Bill?
I'm with Charles on this one. No.
How are you
Don't
getting the
see it.
20 points out of Denver? That's my question.
Well, one's a pick
Yeah,
six,
I mean, that's
and then you just need 2 field goals and a touchdown. Chase Keenum can do
Jeez.
that.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know. I like
that-
Denver in
okay.
that one. They're going
That's
to be
a
hyped
gutsy
Monday
pick.
night.
You're
This
definitely not betting too much on that, though.
This kid's been high. He's got to throw some picks and have an off game. It's going to happen eventually. This is in conference rival. I like Denver in that one.
I just don't like Denver. I
don't
get,
either.
I
They're
get your
grimy and
valid
terrible to
point
watch.
of like a rookie's eventually got to come back down to earth, but geez. Speaking of that too, so Carson Wentz came back and they lost today to the Titans, correct?
Yeah, Titans are scrappy. What
That
is-
was
The Philly, man, I don't like them.
Titans win ugly. I think they're 3-1, and every game has been just so blah. Didn't they beat Jacksonville like 6-3 last week? They win, but it's just not pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone. We talked a little bit before the podcast about it. Let's talk about what the Colts did today. Bill, you want to
Yeah.
handle this one?
It's 4th and 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was well, they had so late in the overtime where they had a virtual tie. They had a 4th down with under a minute to go, and it was something like 26 seconds or something like that. They come out and they run. They try to draw Houston offside and can't do it, so they call a timeout. So you figure, okay, they're going to bring the punt team out. They'll punt it away at the field position, just reluctantly settle with a tie. They go back out with the offense. They run a play out of shotgun, and basically Luck tries to throw a quick hitch and throws it into the ground. They turn the ball over at something like their own 45.
Yeah, I think it was their own 45.
Houston,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was like their own 45, on 40-45, something like that. And then Houston makes a quick, throws a quick kind of jump pass, or throws a pass into, I think it was Hopkins. He goes pretty far.
25 yards or something, yeah.
Yeah, and then they kick a field goal, and that's the end of the game. So they basically just decided they were going to take the risk of, I don't know, leaving themselves with less than 30 seconds and still having to go half the field or another 20, 25 yards to kick a field goal at the risk of just giving away the game, and it worked out exactly how they deserved it to work out. So they lost.
Yeah, it was some dumb coaching on that part.
And Luck had like 60 attempts or some stuff
Yeah,
like
it was
that
crazy.
they were showing. Jeez.
He threw it a ton, but man, the reasoning behind that was a Marty Morningweg kind of take the wind in overtime decision there. I don't know what
That's
they were
a bad.
thinking.
Good luck at that press
Yeah.
conference.
Yeah, he's gonna get
That-
butchered in Indianapolis for a week.
That was worse than that sort of, at least I thought, because of the timing of it. Remember that odd Belichick 4th down play that on Monday night a few years back, where they just went for it in their own territory for some reason and it didn't work and they ended up losing the game?
Yeah, wasn't that a
can't-
Colts and Patriots game?
I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
So I guess it's easy to sit and second guess everybody, but he was trying to be too
Yeah, but
clever
everyone
and
in that
aggressive.
stadium was like, what is going on
Yeah,
right
that
now?
was just a dumb decision. You'll have to live with that one. That's no way around that one. So that's a look at the NFL. I like the Broncos Monday. Nobody else does.
Jeez, that's going on a limb.
Now
man.
wait, who do you guys like in the Steelers and the Baltimore? Did anyone pick?
Well, I mean, you don't want to ask me, but
Yeah, most of us take the Steelers because they're at home. I don't trust Baltimore.
Yep.
I don't get Baltimore. They're the most roller coastery team I've ever seen. They'll beat the best team in the NFL and then lose next week to Buffalo or something stupid. So there we go. Now we got some news this week, and this is what we kind of talked about earlier. Amazon on the West Coast opened a bunch of stores where there's no cashier, nothing. You walk in, grab your items, and you walk right out, and everything gets taken right off your Amazon Prime account on your phone. You have to download a special app to get into these stores, from what I understand. And they're opening one right close to Bill's house in Chicago. Bill, explain how close or where exactly it is, and you're going to be our man on the streets for that one, right?
yeah, it's I work in the city downtown in the Loop once or twice a week, and it's the Amazon Go store is about a block and a half from that office. So I'm gonna, as soon as I get the opportunity, go over and shop and see what it's like.
Yeah, so the premise of this is there's no one there. There's literally supposed to be no workers whatsoever except for people stocking shelves. And you are supposed to be able to walk in, walk out, and not have to interact with anybody. I can't imagine why people are becoming more antisocial as life goes on, but that is the premise of the whole show.
I don't understand. So I guess, how does it know what you grab? How does it, how does it work?
Everything's got sensors on them, on the shelves. So when you lift it up off that shelf, and somehow it's connected to your app on your phone. You have to have your phone and app on when you walk in.
Okay.
And then it automatically senses who you are, and it adds that item to your account. Allegedly, when you put the item back on the shelf, it then subtracts it out of your cart.
This sounds amazing. This is like some future like Fifth Element stuff. It sounds crazy.
On the West Coast in Seattle, they've been testing it for over a year. I'm just shocked they picked Chicago. I thought,
but there's no one working there. What's to stop some rando homeless dude from running in and just ransacking the joint and running out?
From what I understand, there's a lot of people there. It's not as
there's just no cash registers.
Exactly.
So there's tons of floaters
tons
all
of stockers,
over there. Yeah.
Tons of managers, tons of people security watching. So and plus, without the app on your phone, you can't even get in the door. You have to have your Prime account on and your app on, or they won't even let you in. So some dude with no phone or whatever just wants to run in and steal some OJ or something.
Yeah, it just sounds crazy. Because like that's what they got rid of like a lot of those U-scans for and all that kind of stuff. Because Bert was talking about like all the shrink that happens through those U-scans, and how is this not going to have a ton of like theft? I don't understand. Like, it sounds amazing though.
Yeah, it sounds very convenient. It's like a 7-Eleven, a lot of small items. You can't run in and snatch a PS4.
Dude, I got your PlayStation.
You can get like coffee or something. You might steal a bagel, but you're not stealing anything.
I mean, dude, you put a few racks of ribs in there and snatch that.
Yeah, I downloaded the app this morning, and I think how it works is that when you go into the store, you turn you open the app, and then there's a scan device. The scanner that you put, I don't know if it's at the door or at a part, right when you walk in the door, but before you get into the, to the area of the store, at least where there's the shelves and merchandise, you have to scan in, and that's how it activates your virtual cart and whatnot, and the sensors. But yeah, you either can't get into the building or can't get into that, theoretically at least can't get into the to the storefront area without scanning first.
How much would you love to get like Bill's phone and just run down there,
dude? Just snatch
a couple
a phone.
$100 worth of stuff in it.
Got your phone,
like, what is this?
Yeah, I don't know, because like at Kroger right now, they have those things where you can like you scan ahead of time your stuff as you bag it, and then you just put the bag on the scale at the end, and you can pretty much. But you still have to have some interaction with like a register, if you will. But then that's it. That's all you have to do. Like, it basically verifies the weight of the bag and what you scanned, and if it lines up, you just pay and peace out. I don't know.
You can
Sounds
supposedly have your family in too. Like, you can bring more people. You can scan in other people as you come in.
All right, dude. We got to do
I don't know how
on the
that
streets.
works because how does it know to pick up what they do?
Dude, you gotta break your. You and Abby have got. You got to be our man on the streets on this one. We need to know.
Have Abby be your cameraman. Let's see how this
like
goes.
the lockers and stuff make sense to me. Like I've seen the Amazon lockers, like in 7-Elevens in like bigger cities.
I've
and all
seen one
that.
at Speedway in Livonia.
Yeah, those are smart. You know what I mean? Like instead of because like I think that one of the biggest things that's true is like. The UPS guy just leaves my stuff just randomly at the house all the time. And if you're, to your point, getting like a PS4 or something, it would be nice if I could just go to a locker at like a 7-Eleven or some 24-hour facility and just nab it up when I'm ready to go.
If I order something valuable, I have it shipped to work every time. I'm not leaving it on my house porch. $20 or less, I don't care. You can steal it, but anything expensive, I'm having it shipped to work or my in-laws.
I mean, it doesn't matter where you live. I mean, there's dirt bags and cars everywhere you go. So that's why I got a fancy new camera on the front of the May Street studio. So
I see the porch is coming too.
I'm getting there.
So here locally, well, not really locally. This is out in Auburn Hills. Check this one out, Bill. We got a local bar who thought it'd be great to they serve alcohol to everybody and then let them throw axes.
This is like that new millennial thing where, like, you know, you still need to know how to do like rustic things or something.
Like manly things.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, you know, you give this like 110-pound dude like 3 beers and an axe, he's gonna kill someone.
Yeah. I mean, okay, at the Renaissance Festival, you could throw an axe and have some fun. But to go to a bar, get sloshed, then chuck axes all around the bar. So locally, I forget the name of the place, but there's a place in Auburn Hills. It's a bar. It did get closed down for a couple of days because they were letting these drunk guys chuck axes everywhere. So that was the concept of the bar, Bill. You go, you buy some drinks, and then you can throw axes. That sound like a fun time to you?
Not really. We have something like that out here. I'd actually gotten some emails for. There are leagues of the axe throwing. You know, if it's sort of like axe, it's sort of like a dart type game.
Yeah,
you're throwing at a target and whatnot. And yeah, I think they all involve alcohol. So I don't understand it. It seems like you're saying, from a lawyer's perspective, it's a major liability waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get it. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it with a bunch of, you know, questionable people drunk throwing axes. So
you know who started that Momoa guy, the Aquaman guy? That's his hobby. Like, he throws axes all the time and drinks beer. Like, they've had videos of him chucking axes and
drink
stuff.
PBR and have a handlebar mustache.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Throwing at. I mean, I'm no prude. Whatever. Have a couple. But if you're going to throw axes, just be sober.
I go out and I buy like a plaid Carhartt for my axe throwing league. Get out of here with this.
Bring some brawny.
Yeah, meanwhile, when you go to do like anything manly for real, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, can't change the tire.
Yeah. But hold on, let me pull it up on YouTube.
Now, covered a few podcasts ago, probably over
this
the
was
summer.
important. This was really
Necco
important.
went out of business. Charles was very sad. I bought him a thing of wafers. We found them up north, probably 3 or 4 years old. They're still terrible. But good news for everyone out there and all you candy lovers. The same company that makes Dum Dums?
Yeah, so the Spangler Candy Company in the bankruptcy, whatever the bankruptcy, I don't know, I'm sure BV is going like, these idiots don't know what they're talking about right now. In that proceeding, when they sold, like, so basically for $18 million or something like that, they sold the rights to the Necco wafer and the Necco Sweethearts to the Spangler Company, the same company that makes a Dum Dum Sucker. So the problem is, so this company's going to continue to make these Necco things that I guess people were looking for. I don't know. They're not going to have any production going for this until 2020. So we are going to have a Valentine's Day without mini hearts for 2019.
Oh man, well, Sweet Tart makes them.
Yeah, you're going to get the Sweet Tarts, but you're not going to get those chalky Neccos. Yeah.
So there you go. Everyone that was crying over the summer, Neccos will be back by 2020.
Spangler's taking care of you.
I don't know how high the demand was for Necco wafers. But
people were calling us all the time talking about Necco wafers.
What are your thoughts, Bill? You going to go out and buy some Neccos in 2020?
No. I think Charles is single-handedly keeping the Necco alive.
Yeah, that's true. No one really gives a crap.
I've never heard anyone else talk about Neccos, basically ever.
So there you go. So there's your news. Chicago is going to have an Amazon store where you don't have to interact with anyone.
And BV's going to give a full report.
Yes, Bill will be our man on the street. And in Auburn Hills, Michigan, you can go get drunk and throw axes at people. I mean, at a wall. And then the Dum Dum Candy Company has bought Neccos, so you will have their bad candies back in 2020. Now
you guys should throw the axes and do a report too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you should totally do that.
I'm actually really pretty good at throwing axes. I learned at the Renaissance Festival.
I wouldn't get stone drunk and do it, but I would go there and throw the axes. It'd be fun.
I got to drink PBR and have a handlebar mustache too.
Yes, we got to grease our hairs up.
Ugh.
So now I have a couple rants left, and one, Charles, I already know the answer. He's going to tell me, well, the answer is don't be on Facebook.
Yes, that's usually my answer to a lot of things, as we're broadcasting live onto Facebook.
Yeah, no. Well, the first one before that, I went somewhere about a week ago, and I know I'm the old guy yelling at clouds and to get off my lawn, but this lady, I forget where it was. I was buying something.
This is quite a story.
She hated me. She hated the fact that I was there. She hated the fact that I was a customer. Not even me. Even a couple people before me. She just looked like the most miserable lady ever. And I'm thinking, then why are you in customer service?
Because it's a job and she's got bills to pay. What do you mean?
So terrible. She just gave me the dirtiest. Like, you ever had a look and just like why are you? It's hard to explain. This is not a good rant, is it?
Well, so what you're saying is like this chick was just totally annoyed with the fact that you were in her store buying this item, and why are you in my face?
Yes, I think it was Hobby Lobby.
Well, first of all, she can't get an abortion because she works at Hobby Lobby. That's half of her issue, and she has a kid she needs to take care of. But it's just one of those things where like people just take these menial jobs and are just miserable at life, and they don't know how to change anything.
I mean, but can't just suck it up for 8 hours or whatever, and just even if you don't like
but then
people,
you would be in here ranting.
Can't you fake it?
Yeah, but wouldn't you hate it if the chick's like way over the top working at Hobby Lobby too?
Oh, well, that drives me nuts.
Yeah, so it's like I just need a middle ground.
Stand there quietly, don't frown or anything. Ring this stuff up, put it in a bag, ask for the money, say "Good day, sir." That's all you gotta do. Or "Good day, ma'am," or whatever.
You don't got to be super enthusiastic. Just be basic and keep it.
I don't need to know about your life. You don't need to know about my life. But just smile. You don't even have to technically smile, but just say, "Have a nice day." That's all you gotta say. I'm not asking for much. That's why Amazon's replacing all these people with the cashier
and that's why retail's dying. I don't know what to tell you.
I couldn't believe it.
It's tough because you go into certain retail places. Like I hate when people like track me down at certain retail places too. Like
Best Buy's the worst.
Yeah, I kind of know when I'm walking in the door what I want or what I'm into. I never usually have to query the people working there. I just need to know where something is. That's why, and again, I've talked to you guys about it before. I do a lot of site-to-store stuff because I put it at a register and I'll just get it and go. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's that push-pull, but there's just a lot of angry people that got a lot of crap going on in their lives, man.
Apparently so. This lady
and Michigan doesn't help, you know?
This lady was not happy to see me. But now here's the other one, and this is Facebook, and I already know your answer, but anyways.
Because it sucks.
On Facebook, in the top right side, if you're on a PC, I don't know on the phone, but it always tells you someone's birthday, Mike Rollage's birthday.
Okay.
You click the
Happy
link.
birthday, Mike.
Yeah, it was about a week ago. He's one of them that did this.
Okay.
So you
Congratulations.
Click it, pop-up comes up.
Okay.
You just type in "Happy birthday, Mike" or "Happy birthday to you."
Like a little caption you can kick to him?
Yeah. Then hit post. It goes right on his timeline.
Okay.
He says, "Hey, thanks. Nice birthday." But here's the new trend that people are doing. They stick a charity donation button with the happy birthday.
Oh, we back into a Wiggs rant here where he's fisted all of the tips.
Yeah. So you can't just say happy birthday to him because you feel guilty. Oh, by the way, while you're here, could you donate to the local animal shelter in my name? This is the new trend. Have you seen this, Bill?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so now you feel like a dick when you're like, "No, I don't want to donate. Just happy birthday, Mike."
Oh, so you got to opt out of the dollar donation?
Yeah, so it's annoying.
But why do you feel like a dick?
Just say no thanks and keep it moving is what BV's saying.
He doesn't feel like
because I sort of I heard the conversation you had on the show with Wiggs about basically every point of sale transaction that you make now involves some sort of request for you to donate $1 to the Red Nose or this for
today for that
or some sort of I don't think every person or like every 2 out of 3 companies have something going on with St. Jude's or whatnot. I don't see why anyone should feel like a dick because they don't give upon solicitation. I mean, because people call all the time. And every aspect of life, you're getting asked for money, and all I say is that I make my choices for charities, how I make my choices, and I give to what I want to and whatnot, and I don't do it for solicitations.
You tell the chick working at a Walmart this? You tell the chick ringing you out at a Walmart, I make the choices I make for charity?
If it's like at the Walmart or whatever, if I feel like giving something, I will. If not, I'll just say no thank you, and I'll just go forward. But the thing with Facebook is this idea that now for some reason, I think this is based around this idea that I'm going to look like I'm a more noble person if I, seem like I'm doing something really altruistic. And don't just wish me a happy birthday. Please give to a charity.
That was going to be my next question. Is it gonna post to Steve? So Steve gives $1 to St. Jude. Does it then notify whoever's birthday it was? Hey, he gave $1 for St. Jude.
Yes.
So it's the social pressure, man, and BV saying don't bend into social pressure.
I don't see the reason to know. In fact, if anything, who are you to be asking people randomly to give to charities in the first place? I think that's
the birthday boy.
I think
I just sent you an email, BV. I need you to give a little money.
It's the person that's putting you on the spot and asking you to give something.
Yeah, this is the new trend on Facebook. I just seen it the last couple of weeks.
How does it? Okay, so if BV had a birthday coming up next week, how does it? Does it tell BV what are some of your favorite organizations, and wouldn't you like to fleece your friends for it? Does it?
I don't know
does
how,
it do
because
that?
I've never done it or looked into it.
Oh.
But there must be a simple way to do it. That's why people are doing it. And it has a little bar, like, so you guesstimate.
Like a progress bar?
Yes. And so you
doing a telethon?
So you guesstimate. My friends will probably donate at least about $1,000.
Dude, man.
And it shows the bar of like how much has been donated so far.
Jeez. Do you have a bar on the Fat Guys Little podcast?
No, I don't. I need to put it on there.
Yeah, what are
the
we
charity
doing?
will secretly just be for us.
Dude, what are we doing?
Why don't you crowdsource, the internet for some upgrades?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
I mean, do a YouFundMe account for I don't know, new vapor barrier in the
hey, we're all good there.
to help recoup some of the costs of Charles
we listen to some
work on the front of the
some
house.
competing podcasts, and we don't do the 15 minutes of sponsor talk at the beginning. Maybe we should start.
I'm lucky enough to be white in America, and I've got a few dollars that we can afford to buy like new mic cables and all that kind of stuff, and it's just annoying to hit people up for stuff.
Yeah, and some of these people that are doing these kind of things, it's like, you tell me you can't afford it on your own anyways, but let me get the money, but whatever.
Well, what if they said like in lieu, like you ever see like those people like in lieu of gifts at a wedding?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing for the birthday.
Okay.
But it's more like
that's fine, except that on Facebook, how many people that when it's your birthday, say Steve, and it pops up that says, "Oh, Steve Markey's birthday is today." Do you have the expectation that a single one of your Facebook friends are going to send you a gift for your birthday on Facebook?
No.
It's not like a wedding where there's an expectation that if you're going to the wedding or you've been invited and you can't make it, you may send a gift. That at least makes some sense. Okay, if I'm already going to be spending money and you'd prefer me to funnel this money to some charity instead of buying you a gift, fine. I don't care where that money goes, one way or the other anyway. As long as you're happy, I'm going to the wedding or whatever, I'm spending the money anyway, that's fine. But this whole idea that at best, when I see a Facebook friend's birthday at best, and I don't do it with everyone, I'm going to say happy birthday, blah, 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 this person. And that's it. Click.
Yeah,
gone. There's no expectation that you're going to give them anything. So they're not saying, look, instead of giving me, sending me a few bucks over,
PayPal.
I don't know,
PayPal.
Doing it through PayPal or something. Yeah, thank you. Doing it through PayPal or something. Why don't you donate some money to this instead? No, it's a completely just blatant, unsolicited, pitch to try to get you to give money to some organization.
So let me ask the question. I know I'm gonna come off wrong on this one.
Good chance of it.
Okay, so in Iowa, they built that children's hospital that overlooks the stadium.
Yeah,
I find that just incredibly thirsty. And every game that they, have in that stadium that's on TV, I got to hear about the children's hospital.
Yes.
And, I feel like a dick, but I'm like, really, man? You only put that there so that you could point to how good you are as a university and the fact that you're not making millions upon millions of dollars by people.
Yeah, that's annoying.
It's, and I had a big rant at work about it. My general manager looked at me like I was a complete asshole, and I'm like, dude, every game they go on and on. It's hard enough to hear about Patrick Mahomes' arm every time. Now I got to hear about this children's hospital, and then they make the whole stands turn. And I don't have an issue because again, man, there's tough kids that go through a lot of stuff, and that's not. But I feel like it's exploitative to put them over top of your football stadium.
Well, the only good thing about that is you're only going to see Iowa once a year. You might see an Iowa in a bowl game, if that.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what
the Kirk Ferentz wing of the children's. I'm just like, oh, come on.
Why don't you forget the hospital
man.
and focus on winning? Let's try that one first.
I don't know, man.
Is there really a Kirk Ferentz wing?
Yeah, he funded because he had a granddaughter or something like that had some really bad medical issues, and he gave a ton of loot.
Well, they kind of did.
Okay, so he actually gave the money then.
Okay, he funded a whole thing to research into kids. It's a noble thing. I just find it extremely exploitative. That's my only issue.
It's sort of like you. I don't know if you still do, but I know at one point you watched a fair amount of golf. You
I
don't
watched
see
Tiger
a
win.
single. day of a PGA Tour event without a 15-minute stop in the middle of it to talk about the PGA Tour charities and what they're doing. Yeah, I mean,
they're just looking for that PR, man. They're looking for it. It's one of those things that just turns my stomach every time. I'm just like, ugh.
So as you can see, we're very sensitive guys.
Charity's supposed to be more of a personal thing, right? At least that was the way I feel about it. It's more of a personal thing.
Yeah.
And I don't need it, I don't need it thrown up in front of me to sort of make me feel either that someone's better than I am or that, I'm less of a person because I'm not doing the same thing.
BV doesn't give a dime.
What?
BV hasn't given a dime to charity in 50 years.
We have certain charities that
we give it a shit.
We do involved with.
I want to see the forms.
But we do that when we want to do it. We're not going to
call me on the phone
or whatever. No way.
Spoken like a true Republican. He's not into it at all. Alex P. Keaton over here.
All right. So there you go, guys. Well, we're not the most sensitive folks around here. The cashiers suck, so they're all miserable. That's going to wrap us up for this week. We'd like to thank our Chicago friend, BV.
Or not.
All right. And, of course, Charles. Now, next week, we're going to have a big surprise for you guys. It's former WWE, or maybe even current. We'll have to ask him on that one. Rhino, the man Rhino, hopefully he doesn't cancel on us. We're going to promote it now.
Wow.
He will be in studio. We're going to ask him some stuff about, we'll give you the inside scoop on Annapolis wrestling from 1993.
Yeah.
Some other inside stuff. So it should be a good time. So catch us next week for Rhino. And again, we'd like to thank Bill. And then, of course, this is Steve, my co-host.
Charles.
And you can catch us on Apple iTunes or Google Play or at the website, fatguyslittlepodcast.com, where I got my newest Tomb Raider review up right now. I typed that all out last night. So there you go. So we'll catch you next week.
Also, make sure you give to charities while you're out
Yes,
there.
give to plenty of charities, except on Facebook when you wish someone a happy birthday. So have a good one, and we'll catch you next week. You stop.
BV, what charities you give to? Come on, talk to me.
Well, we give to the PetSmart